right.
All right. Perfect. All right. So, what's a challenging physical situation that you would like to overcome?
So, challenging situation I want to overcome is one that I'm going through right now. It's it's not that I'm struggling to go to the gym with motivation, but since COVID has hit and did hit, it's been kind of a wild ride for everyone. Understandably, people's health has been a little bit up in the air, including my own. Really just looking to get back to where I was in terms of my fitness. Uh, that's kind of, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to get back to where I was in terms of my strength on my main lifts, like my bench press, squat, deadlift. And it's definitely going to be a challenge to get back to where I was. But I think that given some proper steps, I can definitely overcome it. If I use just some stuff I've learned in the classroom throughout college, I know how to program. I know how to write programs. I know how to train properly at proper form. So I think that there's going to be some obstacles with just getting in the gym with COVID, depending on what that looks like with each gym. Yeah, but no, it'll be a fun time. I think it'll be a real test of my knowledge and my abilities as a future strength coach. This is going to be a very perfect real example of how that might apply in a real world setting.
Yeah, because it's definitely a hard time for all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, so if it's cool, I'm gonna ask you some questions. I was curious, like, so what had changed for you during the quarantine period, or so? How did it get to a point where you lost some of your progressions or your state of fitness?
At first, I was thinking, wow, it was very, very weird. There was a lot of fear, so there wasn't much going outside. I'm not sure if you could relate to that at all, but there was definitely, because I moved back home just before spring break last semester, and just a lot of fear in my family. It wasn't much going outside. I in turn just kind of fell into that rhythm of school and not having that routine of walking to class, which is at least some physical activity. I didn't stay with it. Home workouts, I thought really wasn't thinking that the gym closures would last as long as they did. So that's one of the reasons why I just kind of fell out of it.
No, I agree. And so from that, with that said, what are some specifics, or what are some specific ways that you plan to get back to where you were in terms of motivation or just physically doing what you need to do?
In terms of physically, I'm just gotta just say this is going to be a grind. Getting back into shape is a grind. I'm not that out of shape compared to a decent amount of the general population, but I have high standards for myself, and I think that I need to practice what I'm going to preach as a professional. I'm not going to ask my clients to do something that I haven't done or won't do myself.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so that's about 4 minutes. So if we want to switch, whenever you're ready.
All right. So now I'd like you to tell me a bit about a struggle you are going through or went through, and how you overcame it or are overcoming it.
Yeah, so the main physical situation or thing that I want to overcome. So I actually had a pretty bad knee block. It's been about 16, 17 months. I tore my ACL in both my meniscus, and I'm at the point of a pretty good recovery, but I know that I'm not where I was before. And I know some people don't get back to where they were before, especially athletes who were at a high level before. But my goal is to try to get back to just at least being comfortable, whereas I feel like both of my legs are the same in strength and flexibility.
Yeah.
So I blew out my knee in February of my senior year. It's my second game into my basketball season. And, obviously my season was over. and it was 6 weeks without bearing weight because I tore both my menisci as well. And then
Jeez.
from there, yeah, from there, it was 6 to 8 months before I was really, playing basketball again or doing sports. So I had a long time of just being still, and I got comfortable with not moving. And even now, I can tell like my left joint is tight, my quads look completely different. Like I can tell, and I got past my physical therapy, but I did the bare minimum that I needed to do.
That's
Um,
dangerous.
yeah, definitely. And I was checking off the list, but it was like I wasn't stretching as much as I really should. As soon as physical therapy was done, I got lazy. So I'm trying to be smarter about it now to roll
Mhm.
out and work those muscles individually and work on, not having the compensation on my other side. But it's definitely a big physical barrier, when I'm trying to go out and play basketball. I have that fear in my head as well as the actual physical inability to be the same on both sides.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, how did you feel immediately after injury? What was going through your mind? Stuff like that.
And so I've never torn an ACL, but so my knee went pretty deep. I felt it go out of place. And as soon as I laid down, and it happened in front of a lot of people in basketball court, I knew it was out. So instantly, it was just this feeling of almost regret that I was even on the court, even though there's nothing I could do. But
Yeah.
it sucked. It hurt. It mentally hurt as much as it physically hurt because I just knew it was like my season was over and I was out for a while.
There's
You know.
nothing you can do at that point. You probably felt a little helpless.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was crazy. My knee's never been like that.
That's rough. All right. So, I know you talked a little bit about returning to normal life and bearing weight, but how long of a time frame was that? Roughly, how long would that take you?
So I'm still not there. So it's been about 18 months, I believe. But I think it's going to take me another 6 or so. I'm trying to be more proactive so that I can speed up the recovery. It's
You
just
going a bit of. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted.
it's just especially with COVID, like you were talking about earlier, it's really hard to be in the gym. So I had a lot more of a sedentary lifestyle these last 6 months, which don't benefit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that.
same here.
So I hopefully within the next 6 months or so, if I can be active and really focus on stretching and rolling and working on the leg individually as well
Mhm.
as collectively, I think that I can get closer to where I was before at least.
Yeah. All right. So, last question. Uh, what would you have done differently post injury for rehab? Do you have any? You kind of sounded like you had a couple regrets with doing just the bare
Mm-hmm.
minimum. What would you have done now if you could go back?
I think genetically I have really tight hamstrings as well as hips. I've always had them since I was young. And I think I really like muscle building and I love working out. I love feeling the burn. So I think
Yeah.
I was doing good on building the muscle, but even today, I think it's flexibility. I think I would need to stretch more and be more consistent with stretching. Because I would go days where I was like, okay, I'll do the workout, but I don't want to stretch. I hate it. So
Yeah.
I think definitely stretching and working on mobility, range of motion
Yeah.
would be the priority.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.